Hey guys, Ted with the Omaha RIA here. Thank you guys for coming out. We're going to get started here in a few minutes, but there's a couple of things that we like to tell you about before we get started. If you did park in the parking lot directly behind us, there's QR codes on those signs. On those signs, you scan those, you put in your plate number and Nebraska plate or wherever you're at. Once you guys do that, the parking code for tonight is REIAG for guest, and that gives you free parking. If you don't do that, they will ticket you. They go through about every hour, and it's like a $40 ticket. So there's a QR code in the parking lot or at the front door. So scan that QR code, and the code is REIAG, G for guest, and then that way you guys can get the free parking. So definitely do that. Every single week, I get 3 or 4 phone calls saying that somebody has gotten a ticket, and there's nothing I can do about it. So Kelly and Jenny run the bar in the back for us. They keep the drinks going all night. Also, you guys can get food served right to your table. So when you do order that, you want to tell them what your number is on your table. Here's one thing. I feel really bad for these girls. These girls do amazing work for us. So bear with them a little bit, but their whole entire handheld system crashed today. And so they only can run credit tabs tonight. And when you guys cash out, you'll have to cash out at the Burger Theory. So that's attached in here. Luckily, that's where your after hours is. So if you guys want to keep hanging out, have some more food and drinks, they keep that place open exclusively for us till about 11. Or if we keep on eating and drinking, they'll keep it open later. But make sure you take care of those 2 girls. They do amazing things for us. So big thank you to Kelly and Jenny and dealing with everything that is going on. I know that's out of their hands. And last but not least, before we're got about 5-10 minutes, we'll let people come over from the restaurant. There is a code that's on the bar back there, and I think it's 0124 star. If you need to use a restroom, there's a code to punch that in, and then you guys can get it. It is locked, just so randoms don't go in there. So make sure that if you don't remember that, there's a little piece of paper up there. Jenny, can you hold that up? Or Kelly, can you hold that up? So the code's right there, 0124 star. That gets you into the bathrooms. We are live streaming right now, but we just want to wait for a few more people to fill in. So we'll get going here in probably about 10 minutes, if that's okay with everybody. But I appreciate you guys, and get to know the people next to you, and we'll have a great event tonight. So thank you. Hey guys, we're about to get started, so this is a great opportunity to get a drink. And again, if you, I mentioned it earlier, but if you missed it, if you parked in the parking lot behind us, you have to scan that QR code. And then when you do that, then just put in that you're going to stay 24 hours or how many hours you want. And then put in the code REIAG for guest. And that gives you free parking. It's already prepaid. So take advantage of that. That's just for tonight. But I will feel really bad if you guys get a $44 ticket tonight. So definitely scan it. And if you didn't do it, they will ticket you. They'd run through like every hour. And so Shelby's at the front desk. Get the information from her if you did miss it. Just got some basic news we're going to cover to kind of let you know what's going on. And then we'll get into Wyatt here. But first off, my name's Ted. I run the Omaha RIA with my wife, Jessica. This is a multi-event with Rookie RIA. We're also known as with Omaha Real Estate Meetup and West Omaha Real Estate Meetup, and of course, Omaha RIA. So if you are never been to an Omaha RIA event or a rookie event, we appreciate you guys coming and checking us out. This event is a little special. This is a special event. Normally our events are on first Tuesdays unless they're on holidays. But it is not cheap to want to run one of these events. That's why we charge. To run an event like this, it costs us a couple grand between the marketing, the design work, and the speakers and the tech. So it costs a lot of money. That's why we normally charge a $20 cover, or we do a membership fee for the $125 for the year. But tonight, Wyatt and his wife Shelby graciously covered all the costs tonight, and they want to do a special event for you guys. So can we give them a round of applause for taking care of this for you guys? Tonight's event is also live streamed, and it's going to be on our RIA Radio YouTube channel. So if you want to revisit this, please subscribe to that channel. We got a whopping like 90 visitors or followers. Maybe we'll hit 100 tonight due to you guys. So appreciate that. But share that link out. If you can, log in right now, share it on your page. That'd be awesome way to show support for Wyatt also in tonight's event. I do have some housekeeping notes because if you are an Omaha RIA sponsor, I announced this last week, but there's a ton of new faces in here. So I just want to let you guys know some updates with sponsorships. Also, everybody here is renewed or new sponsors. So for your $125 a year, there's 25 local sponsors, and I think we have 19 national sponsors that provide benefits to you guys. So that $125 can go far away. But Peterson Brothers Realty, they just signed on as a gold sponsor. They offer property management services. They are doing 10% off the services for the whole entire year. Talked to Brianna Knott there. Albers Flooring renewed as a gold sponsor. They're doing 10% off for RIA card holders. That's John Albers. Midwest Flooring re-signed as a gold sponsor. They can't advertise any discounts, but if you do, talk to Dave Welty down there. He's one of the owners, and tell him that you're a RIA member. They'll see what they can do for you. Brand new sponsor, national sponsor for us is RE Simply. And what that is an all-in-one real estate investor CRM software that helps you manage data, marketing, and sales and operations. They're doing 50% off of that for the first month. If you want to check that out, we do have a special link on there that you can check out and see what it's all about. It's kind of cool. I'm not into the mass mailing to get leads, but if you want to take advantage of that, you can get on this and you can track where every dollar is spent. And you can track how many leads your team members are getting if you have team members or VAs, and then multiple people can have access to that. Frankel Zachariah, they just go by Frankel now, accounting firm, is, just jumped up to a gold sponsorship. Jordan Downey, if you take advantage of them, they get an hour free. Schlick Construction just signed up as a resource sponsor, giving 10% off the services. And then Solid Roofing renewed as a resource sponsor, giving us 10% off services. And Sherry Dare is the contact there. So thank you to sponsors. They really make it so we can do everything we do here. So appreciate it. Being a special event, we reached out to our sponsors and said, hey, you guys can get a spot tonight. And over here is Tom Bilyeu. One cool thing about Tom is that, so in another lifetime, 8 years ago, I left Thrasher Basements. I worked there for, I think, 4 years. And you were one of my trainers. And also, Wyatt worked at Thrasher. And it's really valuable to have the experience and training of knowing foundations, waterproofing, radon, going into this industry. But if you don't know that, you're a great resource to call. And so can you tell us a little bit about Thrasher and what's super unique about Tom? Okay.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Wyatt for quite a long time, and also Ted has been absolutely uh, invaluable into what I do. What I do for Thrashers is I just work mainly with the real estate and investment field, also property managers, and the whole idea is to call me directly. I have a few cards that I put on the tables with my cell number on there. And the idea is to give me a call to go out and look at properties if you have concerns about, or even if you're looking at probably or possibly purchasing a property and there's been questions. Um, my idea is to go in there and just tell you exactly what it is, um, good, bad, and indifferent. It's not it's not my property. It could be yours. So, but I can just tell you how we can go about fixing it. We do anything that has to do with basement or foundation repair. We don't do any building. It's got to be in pretty dire straits before we can't repair it. We also fix any type of concrete that's settled. We do sealing, caulking, that sort of thing. Also, our newest venture is into gutters. We do have a product that is a lifetime warranty, but we can also put on gutter guards that come with a 15-year no clog warranty. So the easiest thing is just, again, take down my number, give me a call. Uh, this is what I enjoy doing, is trying to figure out what's going on. I'll let you guys worry about paying for it. So, all right. Thanks. And thanks to Ted.
Thanks for being a gold sponsor of our group there, Tom. Appreciate it. Cool thing is I walked into a property yesterday off market and they were discounting heavily because of the foundation issues. Well, come to find out, they actually had a full Thrasher system in it. They probably put about 30, 40 grand. It had about 40 wall anchors and had a full waterproofing system, had a big old Sani dry in there. They spent some money on that thing. But gentleman died. Kids had no idea what they really had. And they still had 20 some years of warranty, or they still had 7 years of warranty left on that property. They never cranked it to get those walls back to straight, so it didn't look as pretty, but there was definitely a value add opportunity there, and it was under warranty, so we kind of went over that. So if you see a system, you can call Tom too and ask some questions about that. If you are a fan of our podcast, RIA Radio, I just want to give you guys some updates. You're probably wondering where the episodes have been lately. So on the day before our episode was supposed to release last week, Dennis Bertrand had a little boy. So Dennis, listen to that. Go give him a hand applause. So reach out to him if you know Dennis and just give him a congratulations. Right now, we're in the process of transitioning. We're building a new podcast studio. We'll hopefully be in next week with all new equipment. And we're actually getting into finally producing some of our video work. So there's some things changing right now, but for the better. So definitely check us out and bear with us while we're in this transition. But we have Sarah Weaver coming up next, David Dodge, Alex Camacho, Mark Simpson, Justin Cambra, Ashley Kerr, and Jeff Holst on upcoming episodes. They're already recorded. So look forward to you guys hearing that. Again, special thank you to the staff here. If you guys are a RIA card holder and you order food this evening, all RIA card holders get 25% off of your meal tonight. So make sure you tell the girls, and it'll take that off of your meal. It doesn't come off the drinks, unfortunately. Maybe we can work on that for our next renewal of contract, right? If you have a little too much fun tonight, the room charges are only $99 for RIA members also. So definitely take advantage of that. Don't drive drunk, get an Uber, or stay here. But a couple events coming up on this Friday. We have our monthly luncheon. It's like this. It's open to everybody, guests and members. So definitely come check that out. It's at the Rail Car, Friday, March 15th, 11:30 to 1. There's a conference room in the back. It holds about 45 people. We've been maxing that room out totally lately. So if you guys, if you enjoy coming to lunch, has anybody been to luncheon that's here in the room? And I see some familiar faces. Would you guys recommend coming to luncheon? So yeah, there's no speaker. At most, I come up, tell you guys the upcoming events, but it's meet me, go talk about your successes. So what it is everybody gets a chance to speak, and it's a chance to get to know the people in the room. So success that you've had in business, success that you had in your personal life. So it's all about you guys. It's not about me or a presenter, and we're going to keep it that way. There's no attendance, and everybody is absolutely welcome. So first come, first serve on space. Definitely recommend getting there early as possible. On Friday, March 15th also is the National RIA Zoom call. You guys can get on our calendar, get the link. You should be getting emails for this if you are a member. They always have our national sponsors on there, and they have legislation news. It's about an hour event. It's just like this, but it's all televised on a special link for Zoom, and it's just for RIA members. It's a nationwide event. Also, Unique Investment Perspectives is our next RIA event. Ben Catt, Brad Bader, Colin Schwartz, David Bader, Owen Dashner are all speaking, and I think that's going to be March 5th. I don't have the date right in front of me. It's that first Tuesday of next month. It's all about non-traditional investing, not your single family, not your multifamily. All these guys are doing something that's out of the typical. That is a powerhouse lineup, and it's going to be a panel open discussion with you guys. So each one will get to speak for about 5 to 10 minutes about their business, and then it's going to be Q&A. And if you guys don't ask questions, I write a ton of questions, so we will take advantage of. I'll take advantage of all the questions if you don't. And then on May 7th, Mastering the Market, Real Estate Strategies with Colin Schwartz and Jason Belt. That's going to be on Tuesday, May 7th. So that's everything I have. So check that all out on omaharia.com or join our page. And thank you. We just hit 6,000 members yesterday, followers on our Facebook page. So appreciate that, guys. Thank you. But one of my amazing speeches wrote out here. So, and I pre-approved it with your wife, just so you know. But good evening, everyone. Fasten your seatbelts, because tonight we are embarking on a journey into the world of real estate, guided by none other than the man who transformed a $200,000 line of credit into an astonishing $20 million real estate portfolio in just 5 years. Now, Wyatt might stand just a whisker under 6 foot tall, but as a former college basketball player who is against all odds, still tries to pass for that 6 foot mark. But let's not measure the man by his stature, but the monumental achievements he has racked up in the real estate arena. Married to the incredible wife, Shelby. Shelby, got waves so everybody sees you. There you go. Wyatt isn't just a powerhouse in real estate. He is an enthusiastic leader, devouring over 20 to 30 books a year, and dedicating lifelong learner whose journey is fueled by his faith of love for Jesus. The man strives to honor this commitment in everything he does, including, you guessed it, real estate investing. You see, Wyatt watched his parents' retirement dreams get hit hard, not once, but twice. And by the volatile swings of the market crashes and unfortunate investment choices that ignited a determination in him to discover a more resilient way to discover financial freedom. And folks, he found that in real estate. A passion not merely for the properties, but for the freedom that they bestow, boasting over $20 million in assets, including 40 single-family homes, multifamily apartments, generating over $170,000 in cash a month. I need that. Let's talk about that. Why isn't just playing the game? He's redefining it. And as the co-founder of Full Circle Real Estate and Full Circle Property Management, and a featured voice on top-rated podcasts around the country, including the famous RIA Radio, Wyatt's impact in real estate education and passive investing is unparalleled. Wyatt's like, that's the smallest podcast I've ever been on, right? Tonight, Wyatt will share his insights into creating a resilient rental portfolio that thrives even in turbulent times. Whether you're just starting out or looking to enhance your current investment, Wyatt has the insights for more secure retirement and practical investment strategies for today's market. And the best part is he's sharing this invaluable knowledge, as I mentioned earlier, for free. Yes, he's paying for everything tonight. So if you know someone who has dreams of real estate and success but doesn't know where to start, encourage them to watch this video and share this link with them right now. It's on YouTube, and it's RIA Radio. So let's dive into the real estate with Wyatt Simon, discovering how to buy, manage real estate like a pros. Please put your hands together. For the man, they may measure just shy of 6 foot tall, but in the realm of real estate, stands taller than the rest, Wyatt Simon.
Thank you, Ted. Oh my gosh. I did not write that, just FYI. I approved that driving in the car real quick, and that was quite the intro. First, I just want to say thank you to Ted and Devin and Mike and Denlis, who isn't here. It takes a lot to put on an event like this, like they said. Guys, Ted was here at 9 a.m. this morning setting up and also trying to sell a 5-plex and doing all the other things that Ted does. Yeah. So anyways, we really appreciate everything that you guys do to make this happen. So let's get started. I also greatly appreciate you guys all for being here, right? You guys all are busy guys, busy people, and I know that taking time out of your day for this, I want to deliver for you guys. So how can I do that? Tonight, whether you're a beginner and you haven't started anything with real estate, or you're intermediate and you've got a few properties under your belt, but you just want to learn how to scale a little bit more, or maybe you're more advanced and you want to learn how to put in systems so that you aren't working as hard. No matter where you're at on your journey, my goal for you tonight is to have one tangible piece that you can take with you and you can use starting tonight to help accelerate towards your goals in the future. Does that sound good? Cool. All right. Well, let's get this laptop going. So tonight, the speech title is How to Buy and Manage Real Estate. And yes, it says 0 to 150. Our property management team did kick ass. So we did 178 last month, but there you go. So why are you listening to this guy standing on stage? First, I'll just go over a few things of experience because I didn't know Ted was gonna ramble it like that. But first, so I bought over 50 houses in 2 years. I have purchased 7 multifamily deals. I've raised over $1.5 million of capital, and I currently own and operate over a $20 million real estate portfolio. And so from here, I now help other people operate real estate portfolios. And so what I'm really proud of is in the last year, I helped my first coaching clients buy over $2.5 million worth of real estate. And it's freaking cool to see other people change their lives doing that. And there's some of you guys in here tonight. So thanks for coming. Okay, so tonight, what are we going to talk about? What the heck am I going to talk about? Well, the first thing I'm going to share with you is my journey. And so along the journey, I'll share with you how I got started, the problems that I had to solve to get the initial thing off the ground, right? And that's going to be beneficial for you beginners that haven't started yet, right? I'm then going to share with you some problems that I had to solve to start scaling, right? And then I'm going to have to share with you some problems that I had to solve when I had to start systemizing my portfolio. So no matter where you're at, you're going to learn from that. The next thing I'm going to share with you is a different blueprint for retirement. And this is something that is not talked enough. And honestly, a lot of these real estate gurus that sell real estate, I'm one of them. They sell a lie, which is this passive thing. And when you get into it and you own a lot of real estate, you realize that real estate really isn't passive. So I'm going to share with you a different blueprint for retirement that I wish someone would have told me back when I started. And then the last thing I'm going to share with you is practical ways to invest in today's market. So would anyone like to know how to actually do deals when interest rates are at 8%? That'd be cool, right? I'll share with you how. Okay, so let's first start on the story. So I grew up in Colorado. I had 2 amazing parents that loved me very much. We were very much middle class, and they worked their ass off, and I loved basketball. And as Ted pointed out, you can see me there below the rim playing basketball. So I followed my love of basketball and went to Doane University, where 5'11" white guys get basketball scholarships. And you can see me there. I was the tall one on the right and still below the rim. But it was at Doane where I realized, hey, I'm not going to make it in the NBA. And so I had to realize, okay, I got to do something else. And so while I was going to Doane, I was interning at Sandhills Publishing. Has anybody ever heard of Sandhills Publishing before? Has anybody worked at Sandhills Publishing before? You have? Oh, right on. You interned too. What do you think of the dress code? Yeah, hated it. Me too. So while I was interning at corporate, there was one day I was commuting 46 minutes to go to my internship while being a college athlete, while doing my schooling and doing internship. Well, anyways, I go to Sandhills Publishing. I have to wear a suit and tie to sit on the phone to talk to farmers. Okay. While I was there, one day my boss, she taps me on the shoulder and says, "Wyatt, we need to talk." I go, "Uh-oh, what'd I do?" So I go to the back room and she goes, "Wyatt, where's your belt?" I go, "Oh my gosh, I forgot my belt. I was at the bars the night before, but I forgot my belt." And she goes, "Well, you're going to need to fix this." I said, "Well, by the time I go to my dorm and come back, like I literally am going to have to leave anyways." She's like, "Not my problem." So it was very early on, I got a real sour taste for corporate. I hated sitting at a desk wearing a suit and tie, being told I can't forget a belt. So then I knew, okay, I wanted to not work in corporate. How do I get out of this corporate life and be able to live life on my terms without someone having to tell me what to do? And maybe you can relate. Maybe you're in a job right now that you don't quite love. Maybe you've got a boss right now that you don't quite love, right? How can you start on your financial journey to have something else working for you so that you don't have to work for money? And so this little concept that I just talked about was a little concept called by a guy named Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Who's read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Right on, just about everyone. If you haven't, it's the Purple Bible. Start there. So that whole concept is having assets work for you while you sleep so that you don't have to work for money. And so that was what I saw that and I said, okay, sign me up. I want more of that. But here's one problem. I'm broke. I just graduated college. I have no money, and I don't know how in the heck I'm supposed to buy real estate when I have zero money, zero experience. How is that going to work? So the first thing I did is I got a job. I got a job at Thrasher, and I learned a lot from Tom, who was standing right over there. I got a sales job, so I had a salary and I had a commission. That was big to me because now I had uncapped earning potential. The more effort I put into my job, the more money I could make, and the more money I could make, the more money I could invest. Make sense? Okay, simultaneously, I got married to that beautiful woman right there. So thank you, Shelby. And then I started buying real estate. So how did I get started with hardly any money? What I did is I got a job. After I got the job, I was able to get a loan, and I was able to get a loan to go buy a duplex. So I lived in one side, I rented out the other. Who's heard of house hacking? Cool. If you're young, go do it. If you're married and you have kids, then there's alternatives. So for this duplex, this was in Bellevue. It wasn't easy, right? A lot of people say they want to get started, but they don't actually get there, right? It took me 6 months of searching for duplexes, putting in offers on duplexes, and getting outbid on duplexes until finally I way overpaid, did no inspections, and I finally got a freaking duplex. And my buddy Keg actually moved in with me. So my side was actually producing more income because I was sleeping in the spare bedroom. I finished out the basement, I rented the master, and then my side was actually producing more rent than the side across to it. That's house hacking. Cool. Then what I did is I said, okay, I got my first one. I started making some money at Thrasher, but I said, okay, how am I going to buy houses if I don't have money? And then I came across this BRRRR strategy method. Who's heard of the BRRRR method? Okay. So it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. The reason why that is so important is because the BRRRR method allows you to take a little bit of capital, put it into a property, improve that property's value, and then instead of flipping it and selling it, you get to refinance that little bit of capital back to yourself and keep the property for free. Now I could take a little bit of capital, and that little bit of capital can go a long way. It just depends on how many times I can do this thing. And here we are 46 times later that I've done this in 6.5 years. And so you may be thinking, okay, well, I don't even have a little bit of capital. And Wyatt, I know you didn't either. So how did you do this? It doesn't have to be your capital. Okay. So I didn't have money. My parents didn't have money. But what they did have is they had their house paid off in cash. And I said, Mom and Dad, would you please let me take a home equity line of credit out on the home and use this to invest in real estate? And you know what they said? Absolutely not. I am not going to let a 22-year-old take out a $200K line of credit. Wyatt, you're crazy. So 9 months later, they said yes. Okay. I continued to educate. I continued to go to meetups like this. I continued to show them that I knew what I was doing, or at least someone else did, and I was just going to copy them. Like, look what they're doing, right? Don't Don't just rip off and duplicate. There's hardly anything original anymore. Rip off and duplicate. So eventually they said yes. So then, you know what happened? I finally got my offer accepted. It took me another 6 months of going after work to go look at houses, to put offers on houses. I went through 3 realtors because no one wanted to work with me because I was just lowballing everyone, wasting everyone's time. So don't hate me. But finally, someone who said no came back and said yes. And then I got my first property on market. I then spent another 6 months rehabbing this property. And you may ask, okay, well, that's cool if you're handy, Wyatt. You can ask my wife how handy I am. So I am not handy one bit, not zero handy. But the center on my basketball team, that guy standing right next to me, Nate, he grew up on a farm and he lives pretty close to here. So I said, Nate, would you rehab this house with me after work? I'll pay you $20 an hour, $25 an hour, and then I'll just work for you. I'll give you a free set of tools and we'll just do this thing. So then for 6 months after work, again, we just rehabbed this property. Worked on it day and night. I threw my back out, jackhammering concrete. Like all the things happened on this property. It was fun. But eventually I got it rehabbed. You can see the kitchen there. I got it refinanced and it appraised out and I was able to pull out almost all of the capital. I left $2,000 into the property. So I picked up a house on 72nd and Dodge for $2,000. Would anybody do that deal? Right? That house cash flows $550 a month now. It didn't at the time, but things have gone good. So that's what happened. That's how you do it. That was proof of concept. After that, it was just smooth sailing, and I never had an issue again in my career. Being a little facetious, okay? The next house that I had was the Purple Palace, and God, I hate this house. I didn't have anyone in my corner. I wasn't smart enough to partner up with experience, and I wasn't smart enough to pay for a coach. So I paid for the learning tax by going through it. Okay. So the next thing that happened to me was I bought this house, this lovely house from a wholesaler. I said, oh, it's going to be an easy rehab. I'll be done in 2 months. I'll do a lot of the work myself, just like the last one. We'll be good to go. Well, this house is in Bellevue. And one day while I was working on the house, a city inspector came by and said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm working on the house. What do you mean? And he goes, well, you need a permit for that. I said, what's a permit? And he's like, well, you're going to learn what a red tag is today too. So he red tagged me on the house. If you don't know what that is, that's a cease and desist. You can't work on the house. Also, I learned that that means you have to get licensed contractors in the city of Bellevue to actually work on the house. And so my rehab skyrocketed. It went from $20,000 to $60,000 overnight. This house that I thought was going to take me 2 months took me 11 months to find the right contractors and get things permitted. Keep in mind, I was 23 and very new, so it would not take a normal person that long, but it took me that long. And so I was bleeding for a while. And then the crazy part is I finally got this thing finished. The tenants moved in, and I was so happy. I finally had a piece of rent in my hand. And then 2 days after they moved in, they called me. They said, Wyatt, it smells downstairs. I said, cool, get a humidifier. I don't know. Turns out I went over there. There was poop coming up from the basement because the sewer drain was Orangeburg pipe, which was used in World War I when we were low on material. And it's basically paper mache that had crumbled. So that was another $14,000 that I got to shovel into that property to dig it all up, redo it all the way out to the street, just so the tenants could take a poop. And that was the Purple Palace. So if you are on your real estate journey right now, maybe you're in the middle of a Purple Palace, like it's okay. It happens. You can get through it. The way to avoid it is by partnering with experience or hire a consultant. Those are the two. Don't pay the learning tax yourself. It's expensive. Okay, next, the next problem that I figured out is I was tired of buying on market and from wholesalers, all you shady wholesalers, one of them. So then what I did is I said, okay, how can I find deals on my own? And then in the next 2 years, I bought over 50 houses on my own. It was not all me. I have a partner, Sean French, who's amazing. He's in South Dakota right now, but if you're watching, you're the man. And I partnered up. So that's another thing. If you don't have a skill set, you can partner with someone else who has the skill set. That can really help if you can co-align. And then after buying single families, I said, hey, let's get into this multifamily thing. Everything else is doing it. And so I got into multifamily in 2021. It was a great opportunity to get into multifamily, did some awesome deals. In 2022, did some more deals, and just unlocked scalability of multifamily. And then in 2021 was a time, a crunch point in my career where I was buying single family, I was buying multifamily, I was working a full-time job, and I got to a point where there's something had to break, right? And what actually was the straw that tipped over the camel's back, however you say that, was I had bought these multifamily deals and I had financed them really awesome. I had bought them really right, but the property management was not going great. So they were sitting vacant for a long time. The leasing agent wasn't trying. It was just like, what is going on? And so eventually at the end of 2021, I decided to leave my W-2 job and take property management in-house. At this point, I had 76 rental units and I said, why not? Let's give it a shot. That is the hardest thing I have ever done, just to give you some context. Part of my team are here too. You guys are awesome. Okay. So then in 2022, it was a year of acquisitions and operations. We acquired some more multifamily assets here. And I can tell you that I hired a coach in 2022. And as silly as that sounds, there is zero chance I would have ever done a $3.5 million deal, because I thought that I would have to have at least $500,000 to take down a deal like that. And B, there is no way I knew how to underwrite that or my risk tolerance, right? Like, it's okay to make a mistake on a Purple Palace. I can fix it with my job. I make a mistake on that, we're bankrupt. Sorry, sweetie. Right? But there was no way I was going to do that. So that was when I hired a coach, and that's what unlocked the ability for me to go out and take action on that. Not because I have a super high risk tolerance, but because I knew my risk was guarded. Makes sense? And really the only limitations that we put on ourselves is what we put on ourselves. And so I can promise you, when I was first starting out, I thought there was no way I could take down assets like that. But the further along I got, I realized I was just breaking through barrier and barrier and barrier. And some of you are in here and you're ready to do multifamily now. You just need a little extra push, right? The only limitation you have is to put on yourself. So we're going to talk about some practical ways you can learn how. And then in 2023, bought another 18 unit next to our 36 unit there, and began coaching. So started helping other people on how to do this, and just really, really enjoyed helping other people do unique strategies too, on how to invest in real estate. So my mission is, at this point in my life, I want to create 100 millionaires through real estate. And part of that is why I want to explain everything to you guys tonight for free, so you can take it and use it. All right, so that's my journey. We can ask questions at the end. Now we're going to move on to a different blueprint for retirement. Okay, this is again what I wish someone would have told me. So these are my amazing, hardworking parents that, again, raised me and loved me and cared for me, and I can't be more grateful enough for them. But as Ted already mentioned, my parents, they worked their ass off, and then they eventually they made great money, but they had to wait until 63 to retire. And the reason why they had to wait so long, they were so frugal. The answer was no to almost everything. And again, my dad had a great job. We were middle class, but he invested in the stock market. And in 2000, when it crashed, he was scared. He didn't know what to do, so he sold. And then in 2006, when it crashed, didn't know what to do, and it sold. And it delayed retirement by quite a bit. And you know, it wasn't fun to live through. It wasn't fun to see. And from someone who, I was the oops, my mom was 41 when I popped out. They were already ready for retirement. And then I said, hey. So there's just, you have to have, it takes three things for retirement. It takes defense, it takes offense, and it takes investments. Okay? For my parents, they had defense. They lived frugal. They lived below their means. They knew to the penny. My mom would call credit card companies and get things refunded because she was checking that bill. Okay. Offense, my dad worked his ass off. The investments is what they lacked, right? So it takes all three. So, okay. But how do we practically do that? Maybe you're in this room and you haven't started on defense. Okay. You should start here. So this is Dave Ramsey 101. If you haven't made a budget, start there. That's where you start. Make your budget, track it weekly. It's what we do every Sunday still. That's defense. Offense is spending your active time doing something that earns money. Okay. Think time in, money out. Okay. And some of you need to consider maybe you're in an earning potential. And you know what? I'm going to go back to defense for a second. So I had a buddy that waited tables in college. He put himself through college with zero debt, waiting tables. On top of that, he saved and graduated college with $100,000 in his bank account by waiting tables. And then eventually he moved up to being a waiter. That's some serious defense. Dude lived on a couch. Okay. That's serious defense. Now for offense, right? You know what it is, money in, money out. Consider where you're at right now in your field, right? What is your earning potential with where you're currently at? Can you imagine if he wasn't waiting tables? Can you imagine if he was a real estate agent, right? Or in sales with something that's uncapped earning potential, right? He was making all of his money because he was getting more tips than everyone else. Now, tips can only go so far, right? Imagine commissions going further and further. So maybe you're sitting here right now and you need to consider, hey, where am I working? What is the true earning potential of where I'm at? Because that will help you to get to the investing side with the surplus of where you're at. And then the next one is investing. So Robert Kiyosaki defines investing as buying assets that put money in your pocket. So sipping pina coladas on the beach, right? That's the dream. So you guys know, when my parents, they just worked hard, they made a decent middle class living, and then they weren't able to retire until 63, when really they should have been able to retire a lot earlier, but they weren't because of the things that happened. So investments matter. And so you got to be educated in the investment. And while you're working your active job, if you really want to get ahead, you have to be doing something that no one else is doing. Everyone's putting money in a 401k. Cool. How much is that truly working for you? Right? Can you be actively investing on the side and generating wealth while you're also earning income? That's how to do it. Okay. We covered that. We're good. So hopefully at this point, you understand the blueprint for financial success, right? Now I'm going to say, you know that you need to be investing in something. I think you're all here tonight because you want to be investing in real estate. So I'm going to practically go over now, okay, how do we get started in this real estate thing? If I really want to start generating wealth on the side, how do we do this? Okay. So why real estate? Why not stocks? Why not bonds? Why not crypto? Bitcoin's going nuts, right? Why not? So those are all cool. If you're doing it, cool. But real estate is what I know. So that's just what I talk on. Okay. The reason why I love real estate is because there's 4 advantages to it. Okay, if you're taking notes, this is where you write it down here. The 4 advantages to real estate is number 1, cash flow. All right, everybody knows cash flow. That's the mailbox money, right? That's what everyone wants to have, right? This is probably the lowest level of real estate, in my opinion. The cash flow is negligible with interest rates like this. Where the true wealth is built are in the next 3 things I'm about to tell you, okay? The next 3 is the equity that is built. In what other asset class can someone else lend you the entire amount of the asset and then have it paid off for you over time? Crazy, right? Someone else is paying off debt for you. So every month you're just getting richer and richer and richer. Market goes up, you get even richer. Market goes down, you're still holding. Debt's getting paid off, right? The equity piece is how you become a millionaire or a multimillionaire through real estate. Next, simultaneously with equity, the third thing is appreciation, right? So the market goes up. I think we went up 16% last year. right? That's amazing return. This is what the stock market does, right? Stock market goes up, we get appreciation in the stock market. You get the same thing with real estate, plus you get the other benefits of everything else I'm talking about. Okay. And then the fourth one is tax savings. So what the crazy part is the cash flow that's coming in, you get to depreciate the income of the asset. So you get to write off depreciation, which basically means you get to save money on your taxes. This is why the wealthy buy real estate. It's to offset their income. Oh, and have all the other benefits that come with real estate. It's massive. I can tell you when I got my refund check, 2021, when I got my refund check, I was making a good six-figure income. I got my entire income back on a refund check because of real estate, because I learned what a cost segregation study is. Some of you are shaking your head, yes. The people that aren't, you're going to learn one day, and you're going to be like, wow, that was great what that guy was talking about. I learned it now. Okay, so those are the 4 reasons to invest in real estate. That's why it's such a powerful asset. Okay, well, now we know what to do, but how do we do it, Wyatt? Well, here's how you get started. It's really easy. You get the money, you find the deal, you sign the contract, we can go home. There you go. So the first thing you got to do is, if you're sitting here and you haven't gotten started, go get the money. How do you get the money? Well, if you don't have the money, you got to go find out, get a loan, right? If you haven't been pre-qualified for a loan, go to a lender and get pre-qualified. Where's Neil at? Yeah, talk to that guy right there. Neil slings loans. He slings money. He's good for it. Yeah, it's a great shirt. But honestly, if you haven't started yet, you got to get pre-qualified with a lender, and he'll walk you through. I mean, he's an expert. Like, he will tell you exactly what you need to go get a deal, or if you can't, what you can't do, and here's why. And that's what you now know how to go fix it. Right? For example, for me at Thrasher, I was working a job before Thrasher that was commission only. They said, hey, I need 2 years of tax returns in that job before you can buy real estate. I said, there's no effing way I'm waiting 2 years to buy real estate. I got to find a different job that's salary and commission so I can get approved for a loan. So go get the money, right? Get approved for a loan. If you can't get approved for a loan, there's hard money lenders out there. And yes, that is a scary word, and I wouldn't recommend starting out with hard money unless you're educated. If you know the deal, then you can use hard money as a crutch to be able to do the deal, right? But don't use hard money if you don't know what you're doing, because that's a recipe for disaster. It's risky. And I'm a hard money lender, so that's coming from someone. Yeah, just take that for what it is. Next, so once you get the money, now what? Now go find the deal. Okay, how do you practically find the deal? If you're just starting out, get with a realtor who is experienced. Get with someone who is experienced that can bring deals to you before you go to them. Get pre-approved so that you're not wasting their time, and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I already know what I'm looking for. I found someone with experience. Can you go help me find a deal? Okay, realtors and wholesalers, if they still exist, those are the people that you want to go out to network, to bring you deals at first. Okay, the next thing is you got to learn how to analyze deals. So if someone brings you a deal tomorrow, single family house, do you know how to analyze it? Can you make an offer on it? You have to be prepared in order to take action. So preparation plus action equals luck, right? Everyone's getting lucky getting these deals. No, they're prepared. They know what they're doing. Or they're real unlucky when it sells and they weren't prepared and they catch the falling knife because they didn't know what they were doing. They bought a bad deal, right? I wasn't prepared for the freaking Purple Palace. All right. And then the last thing is, once you are prepared, just go make offers. So don't be afraid to make offers. That's the trick. It's just a funnel. The more no's you get, that means they're closer to a yes. And you got to get over that limiting belief. Cool? Everyone still awake? Awesome. Okay. So now how do we find the people? It's find the who's. Okay. This is what I teach my students. Like we said, you can try to go set up your own direct to seller system. I would not recommend that if you're new, because it's going to be a lot of work and you probably don't know enough yet. So find the who's for your team. If you're going to be building a real estate portfolio, you need to have who's on your team. Okay. Who, not how. Who are the who's? You need to find a deal finder, right? A real estate agent, a wholesaler. You need to find a lender, right? Hard money or a banker, right? You need to find a contractor if you're going to be doing rehabs. Find a contractor, a trusted contractor. And then lastly, you're going to need to find a property manager, unless you're going to be doing it yourself. Those are the who's that you got to have in your corner to do this. And then again, the last who is, hey, if you don't have experience, you got to find a who with experience, or you're going to pay the learning tax. It's one way or the other. So hopefully you got a buddy that can help you. All right, I just covered all of it, so you guys are good on that. Look at that, memorize my slides. All right. Yeah, the only thing is risk. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Some guy who's local said that. I don't know. All right. So now that you know how to get started, you got to choose your strategy. So what the heck are you going to do? There's so many strategies out there. Are you going to be a buy and hold investor? Are you going to do burring? Are you going to do flipping? Are you going to do wholesaling? Are you going to do wholetailing? You can do short-term rentals. You can do mid-term rentals. You can do multifamily. You got to pick your niche. You're not going to learn all of it at once. And I know when I was started, it was throw everything at the wall and just wait till what it sticks. But my everything was single family until eventually it became multifamily, and then single family and multifamily, right? But you gotta pick your strategy. And so I told you guys that I would help you if you want to practically get started in today's market. Okay. When I started, interest rates were different. I started at an easier time. Let's just call a spade a spade. But it is 100% our responsibility at this time and this day and this age to take our investments into our hands and to figure out how it works now. Are you guys with me? Right? Extreme ownership. So what works now? I can tell you doing burrs, it's a lot harder to do now. Why is that? Because the interest rates are higher. So in order to make debt work, it's really hard to do a burr. You know what's still good to do? Wholesaling, wholetailing, flipping, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals. When you can't do something because it's not working as a long-term rental, how do we juice up cash flow, right? How do we make the cash flow higher? Mid-term rentals, short-term rentals. Are they more work? Yes. But that's how you increase the cash flow. So now you can do a deal because you're a short-term or mid-term rental person that I can't do because I'm a long-term rental person. Well, how are you guys getting all these deals? Right? That's just how it works. Preparation, remember? Okay. So now I'm going to give you the 3 immutable laws of real estate so that when you get started, you can actually follow this and not get put in a pinch like I did. Again, I learned in my 20s, so I have made every mistake on this board. The 3 immutable laws of real estate is number 1, buy for cash flow. Do not buy an asset that doesn't cash flow, period. The only time you can do that is if you're very wealthy and you can afford to because you're buying for depreciation. That's the only time. Okay. The second thing is secure long-term debt. You don't want to be caught with your pants down when rates go up and you have to refi. Last is have adequate cash reserves. So you should not be having to put money into the bank account. It should be putting money into your bank account. But if you can't negate the speed bumps that happen with real estate, like when you place a tenant and 3 months later, they tear up the place and have to get evicted. So now you have to go through a $1,300 eviction because you don't know a good attorney. And then you have to put in another $15,000 into the house that you just rehabbed that you thought was going to pay you. Oops. Right? Have adequate cash reserves in your bank account so that that doesn't happen. Okay. So we talked about how to create cash flow, buy for long-term cash flow, or cut the costs. So how do we create cash flow right now? We covered it. You do short-term rentals, you do mid-term rentals. That's how you increase the cash flow, right? You can either increase the cash flow or you can decrease the expenses. So if you hate how your property manager is doing and you think you have enough time to do it on your own, then you can take property management in-house and now you're cutting costs. And I promise you, you're probably cutting about a 20% markup on materials and labor as well. So you're cutting costs, not just on property management. So you got to increase cash flow or you got to decrease cost. That's how you buy for long-term cash flow. And that's how you practically do it right now. Everybody still awake? All right. Whew. All right, next one is long-term debt. So there is $4.6 trillion of debt coming due this year. Oops. So there is opportunities that are going to be hitting the market. What you want to do is not have your loan come due. Again, you're talking about how can we de-risk this investment? If you buy and have debt that's a longer term, then you have less of a chance of your debt coming due when interest rates go up, right? If you have a 30-year note, odds are during those 30 years, at some point, your debt is going to get cheaper and you can refinance rather than having your debt come due on the up. Oops, there goes your cash flow, right? Now you have to sell. That's where we're at right now. So my rule of thumb is at least 5 years. Get debt that is at least 5 years. A better rule of thumb is 7 to 10, right? And if you're just starting out, you're going to get a 30-year loan anyways. So take the 30 and run with it. But don't go shorter than 5. There's a lot of people that went bridge debt that now they're broke because they bought on 2-year, 1-year, 3-year debt. And now everyone lost their money. And the bank's not happy because they got to take it back. And the last one is have adequate cash reserves. So I already told you guys about my story, but your PITI is what you need to budget for. Okay, so when you are buying a house, my rule of thumb is have 3 to 6 months of operating reserves in the bank account. Okay, what are operating reserves, Wyatt? It's your principal and interest payments for 3 to 6 months, plus your insurance, plus your taxes, PITI. So those are your operating costs. What people don't understand, a lot of you don't yet, is that you also have repair and maintenance. So a 5 or 10% repair and maintenance budget and capital expenditures, CapEx, 5 to 10% in CapEx. So really you should be doing your PITI plus 20%. That's what you should be putting in your cash reserves for 3 to 6 months. And that depends on your risk tolerance. 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want there. But that is adequate cash reserves, so you don't have to put back in. All right. With that, now you guys know my story. You know how to invest in real estate. I'm going to tell you a story. So who's heard the Russell story before? A few of you. So if anybody doesn't know, I used to work at Thrasher. And when I worked at Thrasher, I got a lead one time. And this was back in 2019 when I had one burr that I was working on after work, and I had one duplex that I was living in. And so I went out on a waterproofing appointment. I met a guy out there. He had long hair. He was smoking. He was cussing. He took me to the apartment with the water, and he showed me the problem. As I was doing my thing at Thrasher, I noticed other tenants were coming up to him and asking him for things. And I thought it was really weird that they're asking the maintenance tech for certain things that really aren't maintenance tech things. Eventually, I get to the end of the appointment, and then this guy actually signs the contract to get the work done. And that was when I realized I wasn't talking to a maintenance tech. I was talking to the owner of this 86-unit apartment complex who was just smoking, drinking, cussing. This guy hated it. And so I asked him, I said, hey, Russell, do you like this? Like, do you want to keep owning this thing? And he said, no, I effing hate this. I was like, okay, well, I can buy this from you. He's like, you can? And I said, why not? I can. And so I told him I could. I figured, worth a shot. And so he sent me over his tax returns, to which I said, cool, I filed those once. I don't know what I'm looking at. But then I was like, okay, well, what do you want for it? And he said, I want $2.4 million. My butthole got real tight. I didn't have $5,000, let alone $2.4 million. That was more money than I had ever dreamed of. And but I played it cool, right? I said, okay, well, I'll see what I can do for you. He's like, do you want my tax returns? And I said, sure. So he sent me over his tax returns, and then I looked at them and said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I went on YouTube and I was like, how do you evaluate multifamily apartments? And it was telling me something about a cap rate and an NOI. And I was trying to do some math, and it was not working. Like, I did not know what I was doing. And so eventually Russell calls me a week later. He goes, Wyatt, are we going to do this? And he's calling me, guys. I go, I'm sorry, Russell. It's just give me another week. Like, I still gotta run some numbers on some things. So then again, I'm stressing out. I'm trying to do this after work, jackhammering concrete at another house. I'm like, trying to make this work. And then eventually he calls me the next week. He says, Wyatt, where are we at with this? I said, I don't know, Russell. Just give me one more week. And so then the next week I go to call him. I just don't know what I'm doing. I say, hey, Russell, I don't know what I'm doing on this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to buy this from you. And he goes, it's too late. I've already talked with a broker. We're listing it at $3 million. And my heart just sunk. Turns out later on, that property, anybody want to guess what it went for? 3.4. He wanted 2.4. That was my $1 million opportunity right there that I missed. But I can tell you what, I learned from it. And so I said, at that point, I said, okay, there has got to be a way so that this doesn't happen again. And so I created this opportunity matrix. I used stick figures, and then my VA actually put people to it. So you're welcome. But this is the opportunity matrix. And this happens every day in life. It just comes down to your preparation. So you can see, are you going to capitalize on this opportunity? Yes or no at the top. And then do you know it's an opportunity? No or unknown or known, right? In the top, when you don't know it's an opportunity and you don't capitalize on it, you're ignorant, right? If there's most of my other salesmen that would have went on that watering and proofing appointment, they would have gotten the sale, they would have went home, and they would have called it a day. They didn't even know that there was $1 million opportunity there, right? I knew there was something there. I just didn't quite get there, right? Then on the other quadrant, you're going to see if you don't know there's an opportunity and you take advantage of it, you are lucky. And it happens in life, right? Luck is a part of life, but there are ways to get luckier than others. And the way to do that is by, if we move down into that third quadrant with know and known, is when you partially know there's an opportunity, but you don't take advantage of it. Now you're starting to learn. This was me right there in that quadrant where I knew there was something, but I couldn't quite get there, right? And I knew I missed out on $1 million opportunity. And then the last quadrant is skill. And that is when you actually learn the stuff that you need to learn to be prepared enough to take action for when those opportunities come your way and when you meet your Russell. Make sense? So let's recap. You guys know all three: defense, offense, and investing. You know how to get started in investing. You know the fundamentals of investing now, so you don't have to make the mistakes that I made. But what happens if you find a Russell? Are you prepared enough to capitalize on that opportunity? Here are the skill sets that you truly need to be successful in real estate investing, according to what I have learned from my own actions and from my coaching with others. First, you need to know the correct retirement blueprint so you don't chase the wrong dream. Next, you need to know the fundamentals of real estate investing so that you can de-risk your investments. Next, you need to know how to analyze deals, right? You need to know how to run the numbers. It starts there. If you don't know the numbers, don't take action. You're likely not going to get lucky. Then you got to know how to use financing, right? Most of you, I would imagine most, if not all, are not buying with cash, right? And maybe you're buying with cash, but you're actually buying on credit lines, right? A lot of us use financing to go further. And so OPM is huge, other people's money. After that, you got to know how to negotiate deals, right? When something comes your way, the more you can negotiate, the higher skill you have, the more money you'll make on that. Then you're going to want to look for what to look for during inspections. How do you de-risk investments? It's by making sure that you don't buy a bad asset, Purple Palace. Then you're going to learn how to manage rehab projects. And you can try to do it yourself like I did, but that Purple Palace was a blessing in disguise because I had to hire contractors. And so me having to hire contractors forced me to learn how to manage contractors, which then allowed me to start doing 4 projects at once instead of 1. Because now I wasn't doing it after work. Guys were working while I was at work. I was just managing it. Find the who's. Next, you got to learn how to hire a third-party manager and how to manage your properties to maximize profit. If you're not managing your manager, you are losing money. No one cares for your properties like you do. Next, if you want to scale, you got to learn how to raise money and or partner, right? To take down larger projects, unless you're just made of money, right? You're going to have to learn how to partner on these projects and where to add value to people or how to raise money and do it that way. And then the last thing is you have to learn how to put systems in place so that you can expand your business. I can tell you that in 2023, it was just a year of me putting system after system after system after finding the right people in my company. I could not scale any further because we didn't have the systems in place to scale. And so you have to put the systems in place and the right people in the right spot using their unique ability to be able to then move forward if you're growing a business. So like I told you at the beginning, my mission is I want to create 100 millionaires through real estate. And some of my students are well on their way. Last year, again, helped them buy $2.5 million worth of real estate. You can see these guys, Tyson and Justin, they are veterans that are closing. They are using a midterm rental strategy, which is awesome. So they can take down deals that other people can't. And then you can see Alejandro in the top left there. Alejandro, where you at? This dude was my first student and my favorite student. Sorry, guys. Alejandro, when you came into the program, you had 3 properties. And when you left in 12 weeks, how many properties do you have? 3 more? So 6 more units in 12 weeks. Absolute stud. How old are you? 23, guys. He's 23. When he exited, he had 11 units at 23. That's way ahead of where I was. The dude's a stud. Okay, these are just some of the reviews. So you can see, Justin, I'll read it just real briefly. Great class. Wyatt is a phenomenal person and teacher. He's highly personable and approachable with a great head of hair to boot. It says that, I promise. He tailored the course and learning style and lessons evolved as the business grew. He guided us with milestones as we turned and were able to close. So, and then Alejandro's in here too. Wyatt's mentorship program game was a game changer for my real estate portfolio. It equipped me with skills, knowledge, and confidence needed to identify and secure lucrative deals in the multifamily real estate market. The return on investment for both time and money is unmatched. Stud. So for anyone who says, hey, I want to take this to the next level and I want to do it with someone on my team, it's why I created the Millionaire Accelerator program. Okay, we are on our 3rd group. We're soon to start our 4th group for the program. So if you want to join the program, here is what is included. If you say, hey, I want to take it to the next level. I'm tired of doing this on my own. I don't want to make $16,000 sewer mistakes or $60,000 rehab oopsies, right? This is what's included. The first thing is you get a one-on-one blueprint strategy call where we'll sit down together for an hour and we'll unpack your financial blueprint and then give you a clear roadmap on what you need to do to take action. Clarity equals action. It's really hard. I've heard a lot of people that are stuck in analysis paralysis because you don't know where to start. Imagine if it was very clear and you knew exactly what to do. Would it be a lot easier to get started? The next thing it comes with is 12 weeks of coaching. Okay, this is an accelerator for a reason. It's the same reason why I go to a gym where the coach plans the workout and tells me what to do. I just show up and it adds accountability, and I'm definitely a better athlete because I have someone else mapping this out for me, right? It's 12 weeks of group coaching. So not only do you get a coach, but you also get other students that are all bought in and are all doing this with you. So you get a community of people that are doing it. You're not on your own. I promise there's other real estate investors out there. The next thing you get is you get education courses. So literally there is days of me talking into a computer screen for you. It's everything that I just went through in depth. How to underwrite single family, how to underwrite for flips, buy and hold, multifamily, how to do all of that. And it's all right there for you so that you can watch it and learn on your own pace. Also, there's analyzers in there. So you get my deal analyzers. That's all included in it. Next, you get my resource vault. So literally this alone is worth its weight in gold. I have paid over $7,000 in lawyer fees for contracts. Okay, contracts in Nebraska that you guys can use. I'm going to give this speech in Atlanta in 2 weeks. They can't use it. You can. But all of my contracts come with it. Not only do my contracts come with it, it's everything. It's all the books, the top books I recommend for you to discover your purpose so that you can have more energy to approach the day. Imagine you just had more energy and more time to do the things, right? We don't just talk about real estate. We talk about what are the right habits that you need to put in place so that you can do this, right? When I was building my portfolio, I was working a full-time job and doing it. You can too, but you got to have the habits. And then lastly, you get access to my personal Rolodex. So I've done a lot of investments here. If you do join the program, I help my students with banking relationships. I help my students with contractors. I help my students with hard money loans at discounts, right? So there are a lot of advantages. If you join the program, you get to plug into what I've already built. Okay? And to get all of this, it's a total of $14,000, but literally I am doing this one time. All of it, it's a limited time offer for $39.50. And because Ted is an amazing guy, we are giving all RIA members an additional $300 off. So thank you, Ted. And by the way, Ted, I was going to do 100, but Ted said, no, do 300 because Ted and I have an arrangement and he took less so that you guys can get a discount. That's how much that guy cares. So thank you, Ted. Okay. So if you want to join the program, if you want to take your investing to the next level, scan that right there. I'm only accepting 10 students for for this next group. Spots are limited. There are literally 7 spots left. We are starting on April 4th. So the first 7, you guys are the one that get in. Other than that, we'll build a wait list, and then there'll be another one that launches next quarter. Although the last group was less, and likely the next group will be more because it's just a lot of time I'm realizing to be a coach. So this is a limited time offer, truly. All right. If you cannot scan that or you're having smartphone issues, you can email me, Wyatt, at fcrenebraska.com. That's Wyatt, W-Y-A-T-T, at FCRE, as in Full Circle Real Estate, FCREnebraska.com. And just put in the subject line, Join Accelerator, and I'll help you. Cool. All right, guys. So who learned something tonight? Awesome. Love it, guys. I'm going to leave you with this last thing. So I love Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Everything in life is created twice. There's a mental first creation, and there's a physical second creation to all things. Think about it. The building that we're in right now, it started with the blueprints and someone who thought through it. So if you want to become a millionaire, it starts with the mental creation, the roadmap in your brain for how it's going to happen. Put it to paper so that you can start on executing it. And before you know it, you will reach your goals. Thank you.
Whose speech was better, my speech or his speech? Hey, so there's a lot of new faces in here. So this is something we do at every one of our meetups. And I did add a few things in here just to kind of spice it up for you. So just so you know. But first off, I want to welcome all of our visitors. Is there anybody who's never attended a RIA event? Can you raise your hands just so we know who you are? There's probably a lot of people in here. So 5, 6. See the pool we got here? So one thing we want to know is the people that you have in a room. So raise your hand if you do what I asked. So if I say, hey, if you have multifamilies or done multifamilies, I want you to raise your hand high. And the reason we do that is so that somebody around you can see what you're doing. And then when we do our networking afterwards, they know who to go to because you're trying to get in it. So let's start off with that. Is there anybody that does multifamily investing? Can you raise your hand up high? Who does single family investing? Any single family rentals? And who does trailer parks? Anybody do trailer parks? Oops, I don't do that. Okay. How about storage units? Any storage units? Oh, I see some good hands there. And what about anybody has commercial property? That's not just your traditional multifamily. A couple of hands there. And where's the contractors in the room? Any contractors? Any contractors looking for business? Your hand went down, I noticed. Out-of-state investors, anybody doing out-of-state investing? We can count Iowa. We're in Nebraska. And any wholesalers in the room? There's legal ways to do wholesaling. So you can legally do wholesaling. So it's a proud thing to do. These are good people to know. Before they changed laws, my whole business was contacting 40 wholesalers a week to find off-market leads. And now you just got to follow the rules. So it's great that we have some wholesalers in here too. What about rehabbers, flippers? Anybody doing rehabbing, flipping? Don't follow my lead. A lot of my flips take like a year. So what about short-term rentals? Anybody doing short-term rentals? What about midterm rentals? Anybody doing midterms? And what about real estate syndicators? Anybody doing syndications? A couple people. Hard money or private money lenders? Anybody doing hard money or private money lending? I see heads bobbling back and forth for that one. Crowdfunding? Anybody doing crowdfunding? Never asked that one before. Nice. Land developers? Any land developers in here? I don't run across a lot of land developers. What about property managers? Anybody in property management? What about property managers that do short-term, midterms? Yeah. And anybody really good with 1031 exchanges? I know a lot of us have done it, but if somebody has a 1031 question, are you the person to ask? Raise your hand. No 1031s. And what about note investors? Anybody doing note investing in the room? Real estate coaches? Any real estate coaches in the room? And what about realtors that are specialized in investment real estate? Yeah, that's an important one because it's really good to work with those people that know investment real estate. I always like the asset because you don't mesh with everybody, but there's so many of them in a room that have their own portfolios that you get to find out what the actual cap rate is. You get to find out what the returns are. Right, Dave? And anybody doing wholesales of apartment complexes in the room? Anybody apartment complex wholesalers? Yeah, I see one hand, that another one it should be up. So yeah, it's good to know who's in the room. I know that was a lot of stuff, but there's a couple things there I mentioned I want to get in and get to know better, and you are the people I need to talk to. Also, we have a mic right here, so this is the chance for you to talk. If you have a property to sell, if you got a lead, if you got something to promote, please don't take up the mic more than like 10 or 15 seconds, but the mic is here. If you got a shout out to give, this is the chance. We just have to go on mic because we're live. So does anybody have an opportunity they want to shout out? 100 people in the room. There's not one person. Tim, I don't think you've ever seen you be quiet, bro. I know. Last chance. Okay. I want to just thank you to Thrasher and Tom for coming out. After the event, we have exclusive rights to, there'll be other people in there and out, but they keep it open late to us. But the Burger Theory, it's attached to the hotel. And you guys can go over there. It's drink and food. They got really good pizza, burgers. The chicken strips are excellent, so definitely check those out. Our speaker last week said he loved the fried shrimp. He said he was really shocked because he was from the East Coast that it tasted good here in Nebraska. I was equally surprised. And so I heard that was good. Check it out. But Kelly over there and Jenny, they take amazing care of us. Please take care of your staff. They've been over backwards, especially since they had to hand write all the tickets tonight. So I'm a prayer to you guys that you guys have good luck with that tonight. And if you could check out RIA Radio, give us a 5-star review. We've never not had anything, but actually we have 1 4-star review on RIA Radio. So love to get some more written reviews. We'll read those on the podcast. If you enjoy the stuff that we put on Rookie RIA, Omaha RIA, we really strive on getting reviews. So jump on Google, give us a review, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you can give back to us. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, Wyatt Simon, for this. Thanks to DB Video and the amazing work that you guys do. I appreciate it. Can you give a round of applause for our video crew? No joke. This started here in this room. Like literally, Denlis came up he's like, I'm from Trinidad. I want to get involved with you guys. We got talking. He took my iPad that I had flipped up for a video. And he's like, I can do that for you better. And then he got a camera, and then he created a company, and then he started doing our podcast. So it's been, it's fun watching that ride come together. And it's kind of like me. I was a member of this organization, looking up to people like Clint, come speak. And I was so nervous to take this over back in 2020, because I think we're in our 18th year that this has been around. And I'm like, man, how do I stand up in front of all these guys that I look up to and do it? But it was because I networked, and I was able to get to know these guys and get to know the owners of the group. And at one point I said, hey, if you guys ever want to retire, I'd love to take over this group. And so I bought the company. It's been a great success. We went from 74 members to over 450 paid members of the group. And it's all from networking. Every lead I've ever gotten, everything I've done in real estate, every property I own except one, I've gotten from this group, and leads I've gotten from this group. So think about that. So thank you guys. Get to know people. And we ask in the next 10 minutes to try to head over to the other side so the crew can come in here and clean up. So thank you very much. Big round of applause. Have a great evening.